I'm really curious if you feel the same way about this, because I've been thinking about it for a while and it's something that I've been observing in the magical community. What I've noticed is we have some incredible teachers and people speaking about how to do magic, the history of magic, the intellectualization of magic, but no one's actually speaking about how to feel magic. And from my experience, this is the one thing that I've sought after the most, because if I can feel it, it's undeniably real. And that's been my process with magic from the start. Show me how to feel magic so I know that it's real. Because when it comes to the mind, we can do magic by saying words and thinking about it, but there's no real felt sense. There's no evidence of things moving and shifting and creating a sensation in our body and our surroundings. So what I'm going to do in this video is share with you how I've discovered how to feel magic. And I would love it if you could share your opinions and make sure to subscribe and like this video. You're not your mind. We are so identified with our thoughts and what the mind tells us. We actually think it's us, but it's not. It's a system that's been created to keep us safe. So depending on your childhood and the experiences you've had, your mind will be trying to keep you safe in a variety of ways, and sometimes these things actually sabotage us. So what you want to become a ninja at is creating separation. So the first thing that needs to happen is observation. You need to program a part of yourself to observe what your mind is saying. And if you've seen a lot of my videos, I talk about this quite a bit. And in fact, there's a video called The Observer in my How to Be Psychic series that I want you to check out. As you start to observe the mind, there's a part of you that is separate from it. So there's you and there's the mind. Now, this is a very important part of the process. The more you observe, the more solidified the separation becomes, and the less identified you become with the thought process. The thoughts are still happening and being acknowledged, but they're no longer governing you in a state where you feel you're out of control and you have to listen to what it's saying. Instead, there's a separation where you're observing it and you can make a decision on whether or not you want to listen to it, acknowledge it, or put it aside. The reason it's important is because it allows you to work with self-doubt. You no longer become identified with the thoughts in your mind that tell you that you're just making it up, that it's all bullshit, that you're an idiot, like all of those highly critical things our mind says to us to make us not come into a state of feeling the experience we are creating. When you create separation and you're observing, you're able to see those thoughts come in, but you're not so identified with them. So it doesn't affect or impact your practice in a way that you give up. Your body is your most intuitive and magical tool. This is absolutely crucial to you feeling and experiencing magic. The mind really doesn't allow us to feel or experience what's really happening, and it keeps us up here for a reason. If you have trouble feeling, that means the body hasn't been the most safest place for you to be. And a lot of us don't even realize it. But here's a question you can ask yourself. When a problem arises, do you immediately go into strategy, solution? What are the practical steps I need to do to fix this? Or do you go, how do I feel in my body about the problem that I'm experiencing? Now, by default, a lot of us will go into the mind because it's a lot safer up here than what it is to be here. And I was one of those people. The reason for this is the body carries all our emotional experiences. And if we've had some pretty traumatic experiences, generally the mind is the safest place to be. If you find yourself disassociating a lot, going into the imagination. You might have ADHD. This means that the safest place for you to be is up here. So what I would recommend is working on your emotional experience and any emotional experiences that have been avoided or dismissed in your life, because you can't get away from them. You need to do work on them. And that will be a critical part in receiving magic. Now, here's somewhere that you can start with understanding the body, and don't dismiss this. I know a lot of us are like, I feel my feelings, I feel everything that's happening in here. But the truth is, with the amount of people that I've worked with, we don't realize how disconnected we are from this. So here's something very simple to start with. To be able to feel magic, we need to have a really good, trusted connection with the body. The body, just like the mind, is a completely separate being to us. Sometimes we are heavily identified with it and we think that it is us, but your body has its own emotions, needs, and its own experience that's going on. We need to establish a relationship with it so we are receiving the communication that it's giving us. The body teaches us many things. It's the first thing that feels and picks up information way faster than the mind, because the body is our antenna, it's our radar. Our nervous system is constantly picking up information about our surroundings at all times and bringing it back to us and delivering that information through feelings and sensations. So here's something to experiment with. And I know this sounds really simple and basic, but trust me, this is an exercise that I've given to a lot of my clients to start to develop a connection with the body. When you wake up, the first thing I want you to experiment with is just breathing into the body. The breath is the easiest way to access the body. So allow yourself to follow the breath into the lungs. And a lot of my exercises, I get people to visualize themselves sitting in the lungs and watching the air come in and out. So they're really connecting with the motion and the rhythm that the body makes. Secondly, as you're breathing and witnessing the air come in and out of the lungs, I want you to ask your body, how do I feel today? Good is not an answer. Good generally means I feel nothing or I feel numb. So do not default to good. If you find yourself going, I feel good, I want you to say, I feel numb. Just experiment with tweaking this, because a lot of the times we dismiss how we really feel because we're getting up, we're in a rush, there's 100 things we need to do, we're on our phones, all of the things that we distract ourselves with to create disconnection from how the body is feeling. Now, this exercise, don't give up on it. It actually took me a month of doing it daily before I was like, oh my God, I feel like this. I didn't realize how disconnected and numb I was from feeling the body and the emotions that it was carrying. This is a way to create connection, consistency with the body and start to build trust. If you want to advance this technique a little bit more and you're a ceremonial magician, you can experiment with the middle pillar. What I've learned with the middle pillar is it allows you to acknowledge different chakras in the body. Through the acknowledgement of each chakra, what I would add to this ritual is simply feeling into any emotion that's in that chakra and take a moment to acknowledge it. This is a way to acknowledge emotion in the body at a deeper level. There is so much emotion sitting and carrying throughout our body that we do not acknowledge or even feel. So to develop a relationship with the body, we need to start to feel what's actually happening in the body. The other reason this is really important is emotion takes up space. So if you've been suppressing a lot of emotion and disconnecting from the body is very clouded with these emotions, and it also creates a disconnection from being able to feel the magical experiences we truly desire. So when we start to acknowledge the emotion and give it presence, that's when we create more space to feel what's actually happening with our magical practices. So once we have cleared and acknowledged emotions and created space in the body, now we can start to feel the energy that's available to us. Now, there are so many different modalities and systems that are used to feel, manipulate, and create energy. Things like Qigong. So I'm not going to go into any technical systems. I'm just going to share with you what I've learned and what I know. So the more space I've created in the body, the more present I can be in the body, and the more I can connect and move energy through the body. I've been practicing moving and wielding energy through my body and my surroundings since I was 15. And the way I experience energy is it's like a crinkling in my fingers, and I can maneuver it through my body. Using energy is the thing that brings magic to life. It's a sensation that you can create that makes the experience tangible. When you're practicing ritual magic, it's inviting you to feel it, to maneuver it, to feel the energetic components of it. When you're working with an angel or a deity or any type of force, it has an energetic currency that you're tapping into, that you're calling in, that you're maneuvering. This is the most felt sense of magic that's available. The tangibility that you can create when you understand how to feel, maneuver, and manipulate energy is life-changing when it comes to practicing magic. Because what it's going to allow you to do is feel the presence and the existence of the things that you are working with. The energetic currency that we have inside of ourselves is available to use. The energy from the heavens and the earth, it's all a currency that we can tap into, wield, maneuver, and utilize. So we're having a very tangible experience when we're in that ritual process. Now, this takes practice. This is something that generally doesn't happen overnight. You need to be dedicated to it, obsessive even. Now, the video that I'm going to share with you is an exercise called the Golden Ball exercise. And I discovered this when the internet first existed. When I first came across the internet as a wee little teenager, all I wanted to do was research magic. And I was obsessed with working out how to feel it. And I found this little exercise on the internet. And I can't even remember what it's called, but I call it the Golden Ball exercise. So I'm going to link that video, and I want you to go and do this exercise on a daily basis. This exercise is going to teach you to create, to maneuver, feel, manipulate energy in a way that's going to change your ritual practice forever. Let's talk about the most important part, and it's the spirit or the soul. And what is connected to the soul is the experience of receiving. And trust me, I'm not going to make this spiritual and airy-fairy. I'm actually going to ground this in reality so it's tangible, so you can take it away and experiment with it. If we can't receive, how are we going to receive magic? It's just not going to happen. And this is something that took a really long time for me to learn. So what I want you to do is see what happens when I ask you this question. Can you receive a compliment? If the answer is no, or I don't believe them, or they're making it up, or they're just trying to manipulate me, or anything in that arena, it tells me that it's very hard for you to receive. And what's underneath that is generally distrust. If we distrust people around us and our environment, it creates a wall. Nothing gets through the wall because it isn't safe. How are you going to experience or receive magic if you have this wall up? So it's really about understanding the distrust, why it's there, and working with it with whatever modalities and people are available. The distrust is a system that's been formulated by the mind as a way to protect you. But as you get older, sometimes these protection mechanisms create a sense of disconnect. So if it's really hard for you to receive a compliment, to ask for help, to receive any type of accolade without just brushing over it, not celebrating it, or even acknowledging what you've achieved, it's going to be hard for you to receive magic. Now, this isn't something that needs to be completely fixed, but what I've learned is the more I lean into getting curious about the reasons I can't receive, what needs care and help to be able to learn how to receive safely, the more I was able to feel and receive magic. It's all interconnected. If you're able to create separation, observation, and acknowledgement of the mind, if you're able to create a relationship with the body where you're feeling and creating space, and then you're also connecting to the energy that's available within and around, and then you work on the way to receive what's already available and happening around you at all times, your magical experience will change into something that you have no idea existed. This is such an incredible experience when we go from knowing to feeling. And when you move into a space of feeling magic, connecting with it, breathing it into the body, it starts to teach you things that you didn't even think were possible. So good luck. Lean in, get curious, and also feel free to share your experiences of how you've come into feeling magic. What's given you the evidence that it's real, it exists, and it's within us.